everyone, and welcome to the 9th annual Steps to End Violence Against Women's Walk. My name is Sharon Floyd, and I am the Executive Director at Interim Place, and I am very excited to welcome you today to Interim Place's first ever virtual Steps to End Violence Against Women's Walk. And before we begin, I would like to hand it over to Josie Cancilla, member of Interim Place's Board of Directors, to deliver a land acknowledgement.
We would like to begin by acknowledging the land on which we gather and which the region of Kill operates is part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit. For thousands of years, Indigenous peoples inhabited and cared for this land. In particular, we acknowledge the territory of Anishinaabe, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Ojibwe Chippewa. The land that is home to the Metis and most recently the territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who are descendants of the Mississaugas of the Credit. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land, and by doing so, give our respect to its first inhabitants. We also recognize our responsibility to acknowledge the history and ongoing legacy of colonialism and our complicity in upholding its structures and systems. Indigenous peoples continue to struggle to protect their lands and waters from settler colonialism and capitalism and face disproportionate marginalization, impoverishment, racism, and an epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous women. We also want to take this time to acknowledge those from the African diaspora and members of the Black community as stolen peoples brought to stolen lands. Despite these and countless more injustices, Indigenous peoples in our region continue to thrive and build community on these lands today. We recognize that land acknowledgements represent just a small step towards rebuilding trust with the peoples of those host nations. As uninvited guests on their land, we are committed to building positive relationships based on respect, humility, and consent. We will continue developing these relationships as we work to increase and enhance and supports programming for Indigenous community members and to bring light to the epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Canada.
Since Interim Place's doors opened in 1981, we have relied on the generosity of a caring community to support over 47,000 survivors of gender-based violence and their children. This year's walk raises funds at a time when they are critically needed to meet the growing needs of survivors of gender-based violence in our community. Numerous factors, including but not limited to social isolation, financial strain, and increased barriers to supports, have led to heightened rates of gender-based violence, both across the globe and here at home in Peel Region. At Interim Place, we have experienced a significant increase in the demand for support for survivors living in the community. In the first quarter of 2020, Interim Place's community support and outreach program reached 67% of its annual client target. While this has been a challenging time for all of us, your support has made all the difference in keeping our spirits high and our sights set on what's most important, the safety of survivors of gender-based violence. With your support, we kept our programs running at full capacity amidst a global pandemic. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, Interim Place's 2 emergency shelters, community support and outreach programs, emergency crisis lines, and sexual violence support programs have remained fully operational. We want survivors to know that they can count on us and that our doors will remain open. Now more than ever, our donors play a critical role in our ability to fulfill the commitment that we have made to survivors in Peel Region. While an uncertain future awaits, we are confident that with you in our corner, we will persist. Now I will welcome Tara Newman Brickley, who is with us today to speak about her beloved daughter, Brittany Newman.
My name is Tara Newman. I am Brittany Newman's mother. Brittany Newman was my daughter, who was taken savagely away from us on February 9th, 2020 by her ex-partner. Losing Brittany has left a void in our lives. I'm here today to honor my daughter's memory and to share to you who Brittany was. Brittany was my only biological daughter. I have 2 stepchildren who I consider my very own. Malcolm and her sister Natanya. Brittany also has a brother from her father, and his name is Illinois. She also leaves behind two beautiful children. I'm here today to honor my daughter and to tell you a little bit about our precious girl. She was a quiet, happy little girl, loved by everyone who met her. She was full of life, always positive, smiling, and a joy to have around. She made our family whole. My daughter was taken from us way too soon by the most horrific way. By someone who decided to end her life. And we will never be the same without our dear Brittany. I'm here today to thank the Interim Place, who was there for Brittany and her children. Through the Interim Place, she had support with counseling, housing, and to learn how to be independent. The place helped her in a positive way from abuse. I'd like to thank my family and close friends and the community for the kindness and the support during these hard times. In closing, I would like to say if you are going through abuse, whether it's physical, mental, or financial, you can get out. Please get out. There's support, there's help. Reach out. People care. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. For those of you that don't know, Tara is a very close friend of mine, and Brittany was like family to me. We also share in common our connection to Interim Place. Interim Place was there to support me and my children when we needed it most. I've dedicated many years to Interim Place as a volunteer, and in just a few days, I will be joining the team as a resident counselor advocate. Interim Place holds a very special place in my heart, and I can attest to the importance of the supports in the lives of those who access their services. For these reasons, it is especially meaningful to me to be here today to introduce the Rose Vigil. 136 women and children were killed in Canada due to gender-based violence in 2019. 7 were murdered right here in Peel Region between September 2019 and September 2020. It saddens us to acknowledge the number of survivors and children who continue to experience violence in their lives, and the number of women whose lives have been lost at the hands of men in their lives. Please join me in silence as we acknowledge and remember the 46 women and girls in Peel community whose lives have been taken by men over the past 10 years.
So excited to announce that we have surpassed our fundraising target, and we could not have done it without the passion, dedication, generosity, and commitment of all of you. To date, we have raised. Thank you for joining us for Interim Place's Steps to End Violence Against Women to ensure that we can continue to be there for survivors when we are needed most.
Good evening, and thank you to everyone who participated in Interim Place's 9th annual Steps to End Violence Against Women's Walk. We have been heartened to witness the overwhelming support that our community has extended to our organization and the survivors we serve over the past several weeks. We are truly grateful for your support. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you all so much for your unwavering support to Interim Place at this critical time. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, the announcement of this year's fundraising winners. Here we go.
The award for Top Individual Fundraiser. For raising the greatest amount of funds in support of Interim Place and survivors of gender-based violence in Peel Region, Stuart Ulick. The award for Top Team Fundraiser. For raising the greatest amount of funds as a team in support of Interim Place and survivors of gender-based violence in Peel Region, Team Fearless. The Biggest Team Award. For leading the largest team in support of Interim Place and survivors of gender-based violence in Peel Region, Soul Shaped. Most Donors Individual Award. For receiving donations from the greatest number of donors in support of Interim Place and survivors of gender-based violence in Peel Region, Stuart Ulick. And the Photo Finish Award. Check the comments for the winning post.
Congratulations to all of this year's winners. We will be in touch with you shortly to ensure that you get your prizes.
And thank you so much once again for standing with us in our work to end gender-based violence. Enjoy the rest of your evening and stay safe.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Interim Place's amazing development manager, Julie Schultz, and her fabulous fundraising committee for hosting Interim Place's first virtual Steps to End Violence Against Women's Walk. You did an amazing job, and we couldn't have done it without all of you. I also would like to thank Interim Place's board, leadership team, and staff for the important work that you do, not only today, but every day. Thank you so much for all of your support. You have really stepped up for survivors of violence in our community, especially during the pandemic, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Hope you all have a great evening, and I look forward to walking with you next year. I walk because I cannot, and I will not stay idle in the face of injustice. And next year, I hope that you will walk with us too.
We walk because 1 in 3 women, una en 3 mujeres, will experience physical or sexual violence in her lifetime.
My name is Tacita Marie Crossman, and I walk so we never have to add another flower again.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Rogers, and I'm the Manager of Programs and Services at Interim Place. I walk to end gender-based violence because someone needs to end the patriarchy.
Hi there, I'm Jerry Dornford. I walk because I'd like there to be more survivors like I am. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jan Rodman, and I walk so my daughters won't have to. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Volpato, and I'm a volunteer at Interim Place. It's a basic human right to live without violence and fear. I walk to support and provide hope for a better life without violence.
I walk so that my mother doesn't have to walk alone.
No survivor should ever have to walk alone.
Thank you for supporting Team Heart.
My
My name is Jennifer Morgan, and I'm walking to support Interim Place's good work to help women and children who are survivors of violence in our community.
Hi, my name is Cecilia. I'm a volunteer at Interim Place. I walk because I believe that there's always a place for everybody to feel safe. Together, we are strong and we'll make it through.